Hi, welcome back to the next video snippet from Angels and Syrup, the video novel. Today we're going to read the fourth part of chapter 4. And once again, here's the commercial. I'll post a link to the Amazon page so that you could purchase a copy of this book in ebook format, Kindle, or paperback, whichever you prefer. Or you're always welcome to stop back from time to time and I'll be happy to read you some more of it. It's what we do around here. So anyway, if you're all ready, I'm all ready, and let's begin. Here we go. So at 5 o'clock, Dave shut down his computer and left DI/DO. He had a head full of angels that were driving him insane, and he sure wasn't going to work on the cube farm no more today. After work, it was still called work, even though Dave hadn't done much working today. When Dave went home, he decided that he would feed Bast, order a pizza, and check out Netflix. But when Dave got to his back door, he found another little gift from Bast. Dave picked up the little dead thing. It was another baby bird. Dave wondered what kind of bird it was. "Cuckoo," a voice behind Dave said. Dave turned. "What?" he asked. Dr. Aloysius Peepers was pruning his privet hedge, and when Dave saw who it was, he added, "Oh, hi, Al." "Cuckoo," Al repeated. "A pretty bird." "Pretty dead, you mean," Dave replied. "They sing as they fly," Al insisted. "This is a cuckoo?" Dave asked, feeling a little stupid. "Some call them rain crows, but that's a cuckoo," Al said as he snipped. Dave didn't know exactly what else to say, so he said the only thing that he could. "Well, thanks, Dr. Al. See you later." And Dave opened the door and went inside, with Bast threading her way in between his steps into the kitchen. Dave got into his comfortable clothes, ordered a pizza, and opened a beer as he waited for delivery. And when the kid came and dropped off the pie, Dave put the pizza on the coffee table and sat down on the couch, ready to do some watching. He had no particular movie or TV show in mind, so he started at A. And what begins with A? Dave asked himself. Angels. What did Hollywood have to say about angels? Not the porn ones, not the evil ones, just angels, he wondered. There was only one way to find out. Dave set up his search chronologically, and he found that some of the movies were the ones he knew, but others were new to him. Especially the first one, The Passing of the Third Floor Back, was a silent black and white melodrama from 1916 that Dave found he could only stand to watch for about 5 minutes. The next film in the queue was its remake from 1935, complete with sound and starring someone who looked familiar to Dave. Konrad Veidt, the German Gestapo officer from Casablanca. The actor was much better in Casablanca, but in The Passing remake, he was the angel who helps poor folks in a boarding house run by an evil landlord. The next movie was Green Pastures from 1936. It was a bunch of Old Testament stories played by African Americans in the rural South. It was pretty bad, and there weren't really any angels. And then Dave saw Eddie Anderson. That was Jack Benny's valet, Rochester, in the part of Noah. It was still pretty bad. Dave found that there was a remake from 1957 with the same premise and with the same Rochester holding down the Noah gig. In 1941, Here Comes Mr. Jordan hit the screens, starring Robert Montgomery and Claude Rains. Mr. Jordan's an angel who screws up and takes a dying man's soul before he dies. Joe, the man whose life was taken by mistake, gets the chance to use the body of a rich guy who has just been murdered. It seemed so familiar, and then Dave searched IMDb and found that it was remade 2 years later as Heaven Can Wait with Gene Tierney and Don Amici, and then in 1978, the best version, Dave thought, with Warren Beatty and James Mason. The movie Angels didn't have much in common with the angels Dave had met over the past few days. Then came I Married an Angel. It was made in 1942 with Nelson Eddy and Jeanette MacDonald, and had nothing at all to do with angels except for Jeanette looking pretty foxy in an angel costume at a party. Dave turned that one off right after seeing that. Binge watching these movies was hard work, Dave thought. He finished half the pizza, but all the saccharin on the screen made him long for something salty. He got up to stretch his legs and walked into the kitchen, found a bag of popcorn, tossed it into the microwave, and waited for the popping. When the popping had stopped, Dave opened the bag, sprinkled some yellow popcorn salt on the kernels, melted some butter in the microwave, and poured it over the puffy kernels. Found a jar of jalapenos in the cupboard, shaking some into the bag along with a smattering of the briny juice. He was all set. And the movies in the queue entered the war years. 1943. A guy named Joe. Spencer Tracy is a dead pilot who becomes a guardian angel to Van Johnson, who promptly falls for Tracy's girl, Irene Dunn. Sacrifice and love, sappy. Next came The Horn Blows at Midnight, a silly thing with Jack Benny as an angel who must blow the last trumpet at midnight. Two fallen angels try to steal the trumpet, and the movie ends in a cliffhanger as all three angels dangle from the roof as the clock counts irrevocably down to the witching hour. Dave enjoyed that one despite himself. Another wartime flick, Stairway to Heaven, even though it was released in 1946, where David Niven makes a case for his life before a heavenly judge and jury. The Led Zeppelin one was better. Next in the queue was 1946's It's a Wonderful Life, the one Dave had seen on Christmas Day almost every year of his life and that he hated with a blind passion. Screw that, Dave said as soon as he saw the title on the screen and punched up the next movie in the queue. Then, a trick. Montana Mike, a religious movie originally entitled Heaven Only Knows that received its new name when movie theaters complained that people were avoiding it because it sounded too religious. It was, Dave decided. An angel is sent to Earth to rebalance the entries in the Book of Life and the Book of Destiny for a murderer. But the angel gets involved with a cute dance hall girl and a pretty miner's daughter. And then 1947's Christmas movie with an angel, The Bishop's Wife. Dudley the Angel, Cary Grant, comes to help the bishop, David Niven, build a cathedral, and ends up spending a lot of time with the wife, Loretta Young. Everyone lives happily ever after. Dave had seen it when he was about 11, so he felt he could skip it tonight. Dave watched about 20 minutes of 1950s For Heaven's Sake, where two angels help a girl who's about to be born. After Dave shut that one off, he decided that he had spent about 15 minutes more than he needed to on that one. It was time for more popcorn. No, it was time for bed. Tomorrow, well, later today, was Friday and Dave had to work.